Hello there and welcome to a brand new video. Today is another Magazine Monday, so we have another delivery from Brickhead's toy company. You're definitely going to want to pick this up ahead of the new sets in January, but it isn't the Star Wars issue. I know, I really was looking forward to opening the Star Wars one today. I think officially it doesn't hit the UK until like Thursday, so we're going to be taking a look at that one in 2 weeks from now. This Batman one's actually pretty cool. The poster inside is awesome. Before we take a look at this magazine, you may have already seen my attempt at building the clown bot, the nice little ticking time bomb that goes alongside with the Joker almost 2 months ago when this magazine was sneak peeked. It was teased in the back of the official Batman magazine, and I can confirm that the next issue is going to be coming with Batgirl and quite a nice web looking accessory. They're calling it a crook catcher, I guess. We're going to take a look at how that will work at the end of the magazine. Before we look inside today's magazine, I'd like to give a massive thank you to Brickhead's Toy Company for my free subscription. Brickhead's, that's spelt with an S, is your one-stop shop for LEGO Star Wars magazines, as well as other themes like Ninjago. We've got all the superheroes, DC, Avengers, Spider-Man, and if you're not a fan of any of the themes, they also do Lego City. Right now, you can get 15% off your very first order. You can also use my affiliate code linked in the description. They don't charge any delivery whatsoever, no import, nothing. And by paying in advance, you can save up to 30% off your magazines. Every month, I get the English version of the Star Wars magazine, though Brickheads do also ship the German one if you either want the trading cards or can understand it. But we're also starting to get the Marvel one, which have some really good figures, and this Thor minifigure actually inspired a series on the channel. A lot of the minifigures you'll see in the magazine are quite expensive figures, be it because of the minifigure or sometimes the collector's tin that's provided alongside. Brickheads will never remove the poly bag, and for a magazine like DC that is only every other month, to fill the gap, they actually send you 3 poly bags and still don't charge you any more. So if you like what you hear, take a look in the description by subscribing to your favorite themes. These are the issues available right now, but keep an eye out because they'll be updating very, very soon. Before we start, I've got a few questions from previous videos that I just want to cover regarding the Batman magazine. It is every 2 months, so for the Batman subscription, you do get poly bags in between. I've also had a few questions about delivery to Canada, which Brickheads have reached out and said they are trying to work a deal with shipping to Canada. Right now, free shipping only applies to the United States of America. Pretty sure all states are included. And finally, in regards to which magazine you're getting, the images are updated every month to show the new one. So as soon as the images are updated, you'll know the new one's on its way. I do already have a Joker minifigure in my collection, and we'll be taking a look at all the minifigures. I have upgraded Batman since, and want to upgrade basically all my DC minifigures, taking heavy inspiration from the comics and other images inside this magazine. Oh, I think we're going to ruin the poly bag here, but can we keep the magazine intact? This is like the first puzzle of the magazine. Oh no, I've kind of ruined the front bit there. Let's see if we can make the rest clean. Okay, we did have a little mark removed off, a bit of the ink removed off Batman's cowl, but all around not too bad. There we go. Batman was left unscathed on the back, at least the bigger Batman. The little Batman wasn't as lucky. LEGO magazines in general, across the board, Batman, we also get the Marvel ones, the Star Wars ones, and occasionally even pick up a Ninjago magazine. And I'm pretty sure we've picked up like City and all the other themes over the years, at least one of each. They are on the rise. It's nice to see because you can't always say the same for LEGO sets. Excuse the noise of the paper poly bag. Whoa, that went flying. Especially when it comes to the Batman theme. LEGO sets, if you're a fan of Batman and LEGO, I do feel for you sometimes. This year wasn't half bad with Arkham, one of the best sets of the year. And then also like the Superman mech is a really good set, and it's a shame to see that it's retiring this year After only coming out in January, Smiths in the UK have already retired it, and Lego have it up for retiring soon. So if I can see this in store, I might just have to pick it up. But even the Joker in this poly bag is a different Joker to the one I've got, because you go through waves with Batman of having really good minifigures, and then the next year you just get a ton of Batmobiles with the same looking Batman in pretty much every set, which seems to be behind us. But this Joker specifically has a lighter purple. Let me get my old one. Here's my box of DC minifigures, which I do keep in a box. It's kinda, there's got to be a better way of keeping them, hasn't there? This is my old Joker compared to my new one, the back detailing. It's like night and day between the old one having quite a plain boring torso and the new one coming with that striped jacket that at least I recognize. I also think the head on the newer minifigure is more Joker, but I understand that these are representing different Joker minifigures. As far as Batman's concerned, I couldn't tell the difference between which version of the Joker it is. We tried to distinguish between different Batmen. I think I found this Joker from the Joker and Cash Machine polybag. So it seems that this guy has already been in a magazine, but as we've seen with the next issue coming with this Batgirl, stay tuned. There are a few modifications you'll want to make to them in 2 months' time. That's the Christmas magazine. And with this Joker, as well as the Spider-Man and Marvel themes, sometimes it's good to get an extra minifigure, especially for the Joker. I'm not sure how easy it is to make Batgirl into other minifigures, but you can never have enough Jokers. What's the torso on this guy look like? Giant green bow, come on, we can't miss it. This guy was also in the magazine. So the old minifigure I have is from a 2019 magazine, and then the new Joker that we just got was last in the magazine 2023, maybe 2024. 2024, so last year we got the Joker. You've seen in the last year with Spider-Man, we've ended up getting 3, nearly 4 Spider-Mans. To get a Joker every single year is nice because you get that really nice pal makeup covered Joker face, which if you want a few goons to worship the Joker, you're going to need a few of those Joker elements. You can even give that purple suit to so many other characters in not sci-fi movies, but other like iconic characters donning the purple suit. Though I'm not sure how well this is going to work for a custom Willy Wonka. I can kind of see it. We're going to have to do that at the end of the video. I am getting way too distracted because we haven't even opened the magazine, which should at some point along have instructions to build the little clown bomb. I know not all of us need the instructions, but it's definitely a lot easier using them than trying to do it yourself. Say it's a lot easier doing them, but there's actually an illegal technique on step 3. I don't know why I keep trying to show it off to the camera when I can just add an image over the top, but they've got a Technic pin inside a brick, and they've done this time and time Lego to a lot of the advents. There's no room for a Technic pin. It depends. It depends how you're applying it, because if you were to put the Technic pin all the way through, you're squeezing it past those snot bricks. Surely this is illegal. It feels illegal. It kind of works because the Technic pin has the holes in the snot brick to expand and keep it clipped inside. It's not going to leave, and it shouldn't stress out the Technic pin over time. It always feels illegal. I always get caught off guard when Lego are putting pins in any sort of brick, let alone a Technic brick. Any other brick would definitely be illegal, but they get away with it with this snot brick. Should we let them get away with it? Let me know in the comments if putting a Technic pin in a snot brick is legal. I'm actually on the side of illegal. The numbers lie. I'm not trusting the numbers. It does not feel right. Therefore, I just can't fully support this motion. But technically, there is no stress on the brick. And it's nice to see that the top of the clown, the translucent red tile and the antenna on the top of the clown are the two pieces used to control it on the walkie-talkie, on the radio. I'm sure that's done intentionally. There we go. New Joker's got it. And the new Joker doesn't have a dual-sided face. Let's see if the old one did. I also want to mention, as we take a look, no, the old one didn't have a dual-sided face. The hairpiece is less shiny and more matte. So you can see quite clearly the change in plastic over time used for the green piece. I'm still on the side that all hairpieces should be built in TPU, but I don't think Lego's going to change that anytime soon. I love the comics in the magazines. Batman here, spoiler alert, does blow up one of Joker's vehicles, a giant Power Miners-esque steamroller. I think it's just the color scheme with the green and the orange used that's given me that idea. And the Joker, after it blows up, says, "No, I can rebuild it, I promise." Batman and the Joker are a really great two-person comic act anyway. Add a bit of that Lego humor in it, you just can't beat it. As always, we have the 2-page spread with the polybag featured, and I think there's a spot the difference, like a 3-way spot the difference of 3 different robots. I think it's just called the robot. It would have been nice to have a, you know, Batman robot. Robot just seems too evil. What are we gonna, Clownbot? Clownbot is much better. And here we are, changing over the poster that is on the door. You can't really see it, but last time we switched out the poster. Let me get it. I think we switched out the Darth Maul poster for a Lego Spider-Man one, which was the last issue we got, and it started to slip down. So I'm happy to be transitioning back to vertical posters for Lego Batman, though I am looking at maybe closer to the new year, getting 4 posters up, because we said about 3, one of them horizontal. I'm thinking Spider-Man, Star Wars, Batman, and Ninjago, and then we'll combine the Spider-Man and the Marvel one. But first, we've got to pop out the new poster. If you're doing this at home and want this up more permanently, I'd heavily recommend a frame, but also undo the staples rather than pulling them out, because they do leave tiny holes. That wouldn't be a bad set to get all of that in. The first poster we have is this Meet the Bat Family. Don't mess with the Bat Family. They're not doing meet and greets. Robin's got a bike. Batgirl's got a quad bike. We have Batwoman, if I remember correctly from the animated series, though she had more of a silvery suit. And then we have Nightwing over here, or Dick Grayson, alongside Batman in the Batwing. Funnily enough, no Batmobile. I'm going to choose the other poster, which I think would look awesome as a single minifigure. You always get 2 sides of a poster, even in the bigger magazines where they come with that maxi poster. You always get 2 different sides to it, and one of them always relates to the polybag you get, which for Spider-Man was Green Goblin. So I guess he's featured on one side. Usually they are the center attraction to the magazine posters, as is the case this time. Let's see, it doesn't look like it's gonna fit. Oh no, it fits. I don't know why it didn't look like it was gonna fit. It panicked me there. I thought the magazines were getting even bigger, and that would require bigger frames that, well, let's just say 4 of them wouldn't fit on the door. Oh, I've given it away. The other poster is a Batman Joker poster, which first off, I'd love to get the Last Laugh Batman as a Lego set, or at least as a minifigure. And we're kind of due another Bat CMF, because there are so many other minifigures of villains and heroes that we're just yet to get. No, don't tell me I've missed a like protective layer. Oh, I didn't even notice this. This is going to be so satisfying. Okay, it would have been better if I removed the clips, but no fingerprints. Oh no, I didn't realize there was still a protective layer on this. That's done. I mean, the glare's kind of worse, but it looks a lot better. That explains why it was sort of clouded and smoky on the door. How many posters have we fit in this before I realized that there's the protective layer? Anyway, what I was saying about the minifigure is having a half Joker, half Batman figure would look awesome, and I'm definitely going to have to do that at some point. And again, you can't see it in this video, but when I'm sat down at the desk especially, it does peek out over my shoulder, And it is nice to have a few of the posters on display, just like I used to do, blue tacking them to my wall every single month. Okay, we are ignoring this. I am done with Lego magazine games that need dice. No, it's not the dice's problem. It's just the RNG that I don't play a lot of RNG video games, and I would love to play the new Lego Batman game. We took a look at the announcement for that, but the dice, there's just no chance of an easy win. I much prefer a Sudoku, a crossword, and sometimes even like the spot the differences that we saw earlier. It seems that the Joker has an entire factory of these little clown bots, or robots as they call them in the comic, and a lot of the goons are wearing that Joker face paint. They've got the purple trousers. You just need a bunch of green jackets, and you can pick up as many of this issue as you really can afford to just amass an army of Jokers and clown bots. The best part of it is if you don't own a lot of the green earpieces, maybe you've got a shortage on red antennas. I don't know how popular they are. Oh wow, I do actually own a few of them. You don't need all the pieces for the clown bots, because the production lines only have certain pieces placed in. So, you know, stick them all on a conveyor belt, no one's gonna know any different. The Joker's definitely been playing around with this magazine, because it looks like we have some sort... Oh, I thought this was another dice game. It's not, it's like a little mirror game. So much fun to be had, and we get a bonus comic. This is like the classic Batman styles of comics. This is the comic, all here on the one page. Feel free to pause that and read it if you're not going to pick it up, but I definitely recommend picking up this issue. And I also need to pick up the new Superman, so hopefully we will get Superman in this magazine, because I only have the Man of Steel, but like I said, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for that mech and Batgirl's in the next issue. But as the title suggests, I do recommend you pick this up before January. If you are unaware, January is going to bring 3 Batmobiles and the Batwing. Yes, we've got 3 Batmobiles and then the Batman logo we've already spoken about, and actually that build inspired a Mythosaur build. Just remember, if you do want any gift with purchases like the Disney TV we built yesterday, pre-orders don't tend to count towards them, so keep an eye out for any news later on in January. First up, we have the Batman v Superman Batmobile, which is, you know, aptly named. Superman is right there in the title, though Batman v Superman refers to the global success of everyone's favorite Superman and Batman movie combined. I haven't watched Batman v Superman. I did watch Man of Steel, and I did quite like that. Batman v Superman's Batmobile is missing Superman. So Superman coming in, say, February's magazine would be a fine addition to the collection. Likewise, onto Batman and Robin's Batmobile. Batman and Robin. The Robin is literally implied in the title, but is absent from the set. Only comes with a Batman minifigure, $24.99. If we go back to some of the other sets that Lego are selling, Lightning McQueen's got no minifigures. Honestly, Owen Wilson would have gone so hard in that set, but I can understand why Lego didn't go with any minifigures. But the Time Machine from Back to the Future comes with Doc and Marty. Like Batman and Superman, like Batman and Robin, they are the 2 iconic characters from that piece of media. Come on, Lego, we need to be including 2 minifigures. Perhaps it's because only 1 minifigure fits in the cockpit, but look at that! That tumbler's definitely... Superman doesn't even have to fit inside, and Robin could just be waiting outside, or we could squeeze him in the front. Finally, the Batman Batmobile wouldn't be including our favorite clown, but would come with probably someone like the Penguin, which has been featured in a set previously. I think Penguin's car has even got its own set. And it's another character that wouldn't be needed to be seated inside the Batmobile. This is my favorite by far out of all 3. For any of you that were wondering, I really love this Batman Batmobile. But I've also seen a lot of love for the Batman v Superman tumbler. I think the way they've used the bike wheels at the front and not built a bike is superb. Don't really know too much about the Batman and Robin Batmobile, but having the stickers, maybe the odd printed element on the side, just to add that extra detail you're not going to build at this scale. Welcome addition, if you ask me. So with all 3 of these Batmobiles not coming with an extra figure, the Batman Batmobile actually came with a Penguin minifigure. why is this one not? Great build still, but really does put emphasis on things like the magazines, like some of the books, and if you don't have a Joker, this issue is perfect. It's going to be running for a month, and then you get 3 random polybags in next month's subscription. They could be minifigures, they could even be side builds that you could add to your Batman display, and then you've got the Batgirl minifigure over Christmas. Hopefully we do get Superman or maybe the Penguin, who I've also got from a previous Lego Batman magazine. So let's improve some of these figures. I don't think we can improve the Joker. I think the Joker's perfect. You are perfect. There's nothing else. As an animated series Batman fan, I don't think there's much I can do to the regular Joker minifigure. The official minifigure for the animated series has the jacket open a bit more, but I also think this magazine, besides that official minifigure, is the closest we're going to get to the animated series Batman. So, sorry Joker, but maybe a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory mock coming soon? No boots, no gloves up the arm. Maybe we are missing one thing, and that's a stick of dynamite. But for now, we'll include the remote to the clown bot, and that'll be the first minifigure on like our Batman CMF. The Joker's not actually the only perfect minifigure, and I'm afraid the Penguin's gonna need some work because we have Harley Quinn here, who is another minifigure I don't think there's anything I can do with. And you know what? I'm adding Wonder Woman to the list as well. There are a lot of quality Batman minifigures that do sometimes come, especially Harley Quinn has come in a fair share of Batman magazines. We are on issue number 41. I'm willing to bet that that's over 20, maybe even over 25 minifigures that have come in the Lego Batman magazine. They're mostly minifigures, especially this year. Not a lot of builds in the magazine. I think minifigures are more popular, but if we're getting more minifigures, can we get more clown bots? And the Penguin has to come with a little brick built Penguin. To be able to improve our Penguin minifigure, we're going to be stealing the legs off of Robin. I'm pretty sure most of these minifigures have come from the Lego magazine. For now, we'll just give Robin some regular green legs. We'll decorate them in a little bit because the Penguin minifigure, I feel like isn't short enough to get the really short legs. Also, I wanted to make the color swap to black so it lines up more with the animated series, which is something you'll see for all these minifigures. But I feel like Penguin should at least be able to sit down in a vehicle, and it makes sense with the shortened height and the limp that most portrayals do include to give Penguin those shorter legs that are still adult legs rather than the legs we use for like Nubs and Yoda. Next up is our Batgirl minifigure. As you've seen in the back of the magazine, doesn't come with any sort of helmet, which would be nice. And I've swapped out the hairpiece from the one that I dislike, the longer haired wig with the little bit down the front. Really despise that hairpiece. It's been used way too much from Lego, but is kind of a classic hairpiece to go for any women minifigures, just like completely across the board. Lego have used it in every theme. I have given her Kenobi's hair from Attack of the Clones. I can't explain my decision here, but we're sticking with it because the big change we're making to this minifigure, next month's minifigure is in a grey suit as well. This is in a dark grey suit. That's light bluish grey and would look a lot better than this. But to match the animated show, we're going to be swapping out those yellow hands for some dark blue and also painting on some dark blue boots in just a second. Similar to what I'll be doing to the Man of Steel Superman, even though it's not the classic Superman, Man of Steel does still have some dark red boots on the costume, which I feel like are important, and I left out with Kenobi. So here's another minifigure that needs dark red boots. Come on, Lego, just make it happen. And I'll also be painting some boots onto Robin's green legs, but I also want to switch up those black arms off Robin for some green ones. I just feel like that pop of color is needed among these figures, and again, something that pops up in the animated series. If you are swapping hands and especially arms on your minifigures, be careful for any cracking. You don't want to push the arms or hands too harshly because that will lead to breaking of some Lego parts. But that being said, if they are from the Lego magazine and you're only spending a couple of quid on each of them, it will definitely make the loss feel a little worse than if you were cracking a minifigure from one of the multiple $100 or pound sets that Batman are selling. And for our Batman minifigure, I've already gone ahead, painted on some gloves and boots, and just in this lineup of 8 minifigures, you can already tell the quality is just so much higher. The other 4 minifigures that I'd like to add to this collection are Catwoman, again from the animated series. A minifigure exists of Catwoman, as does Mr. Freeze, which would both be fine additions to pick up in a future issue of the Lego Batman magazine. So I am keeping my eyes peeled for either of those from the animated series. Mr. Freeze showed up in the animated series Batmobile with an updated version of Harley Quinn, and then the Catwoman showed up in that display mural of the Gotham City skyline. Both really cool sets, but I have been spending most of my money on Star Wars. The last 2 minifigures haven't been made, and it's an accurate Riddler to the show. Doesn't show up as much as most of the others, so hasn't been included in any of the animated Batman Lego sets. And Riddler I might be making a custom for. And then finally Poison Ivy, which is probably the easiest of the bunch. Just need a like leotard and leggings, whereas a lot of the Lego Poison Ivies go for more of a Lego Batman video game Poison Ivy, which I've probably played that game nearly as much as the complete saga. It's second to that and second to that alone. Robin is sporting those nice green legs with black painted boots. Batgirl is dark bluish grey legs with a dark blue paint on top, and Man of Steel's using the default dark blue legs with the nicest shade of dark red for the boots. Some of you may be wondering why it is that I paint boots rather than just buying, you know, custom Lego elements. And well, a lot of these pieces don't exist in Lego's catalogue, so it would be looking to third-party sites, and some I've got more paint on the desk. Right, I'm gonna have to scrub that after this because I keep getting paint everywhere, but some custom sellers charge so much for specific parts, especially to have that Superman or Man of Steel printing on the legs with the boots. Sometimes it's straight up just easier to paint them on yourself, and though Superman's going to need a second coat for his boots, the minifigures already look so much better. I've done the exact same for countless minifigures in the past, and whilst I was painting these boots, also painted up a set of boots for the Endor Leia minifigure, which is a prime example of what I'm about to say about minifigures needing dual molding over just regular printing. We've already given the dual molded effect for the official legs that come with the Endor Leia, and the same can be said to the Endor loop. But having those green boots just to get a bit of the green poncho, which has previously been material, is not what we're going for in our minifigures. Instead, we want the accuracy of the black boots with the blue pants. No printing on this, yet if I attach this to the Endor Leia top half, it already looks so much better, and I think these sand blue legs, in some fashion at least, might exist with the dual molded black boot. But all I've done is painted on some black boots, and it's a lot cheaper than picking up the Legoless legs from the Rivendell Lord of the Rings set that come with the dual molding, and also then have a bit of like a green bottom of a leotard almost on the top. So this is why I paint on a lot of boots, and I encourage you to do the same. Acrylic paint is going to stay on. It might scratch over time, but let's face it, so's the Lego printing. And here is 8 of the 12 Batman CMF animated series style figs. I don't know if Wonder Woman and Man of Steel can be included in that, but at least we've got the other 6. And I hope to get the 4 in the future from the Lego Batman magazine. One of the best ways to pick up minifigures, and honestly, if there's one thing you take from this video, it's that the magazines are perfect for getting minifigures that Lego don't include in the sets. Hello there, this is future editor Mouldie here, and as you've seen by some of this video, I've already found some purposes for some of my spare Batman minifigure, particularly that headpiece and the legs on a city criminal torso, very reminiscent of what we've recently done in the Marvel magazine with an extra version of the Green Goblin that I picked up. We now have a Joker crook, and the hairpiece I thought would be a great equivalent to use on the young, oh, I forgot his name, Hera and Caleb Dune, Kanan's kid. I have completely forgotten the name of this character it's completely gone out my mind. But I think this is probably just as good a hairpiece to use as the green elvish one with the elf ears. It gets rid of those ears and definitely looks a lot closer to the colour we see in the Rebels show. And that leaves us with this torso right here. I'll have on screen an image of the official Lego Willy Wonka, but I did say this torso would be a good idea for a custom Willy Wonka, especially if it saves spending hundreds of pounds on the official Lego set, but it's going to need a lot of work. Firstly, I've got a pair of dark tan legs. Lego use light tan, and it's definitely between the two, but for a change we're going to make later on, I definitely think, you know what, I can't even back dark tan. Dark tan, light tan, they both look the same. And then for the head, I'm gonna go with a Luke Skywalker minifigure, like straight up headpiece and hair. I think it captures the long hair. The door molded piece, again Lego use, referencing that, is a cross between like a dirty blonde and a very light ginger. So you could also get away with using a few Kenobi hair pieces if you do have a few spares. And then last but not least, we're gonna take some fleshy tone hands. I have a ton of these Rebel minifigures, so I'm grabbing them from this Rebel minifigure. But is there actually a way people amass minifigure parts without looking on various marketplaces? Is there a way I can just order a ton of minifigure parts for cheap, or do I just have to pick them up as I go along? And then the last addition we need for our Willy Wonka minifigure is the hat. It's iconic. We could give our fig just a regular black top hat, but I do think, as well as needing a stud to stay on, I do think it would have been cool to have had one in the correct colour, and especially the ribbon, which Lego have missed out. They've moulded the ribbon around the head, but they haven't got a proper ribbon, so we've used a 2x2 round jumper plate with 2 studs and a tile on top, showing off the ribbon, but this just doesn't look as good as the official Lego top hat. This version is also not wearing the top hat. That door molded element is so nice to be getting, and also if you aren't aware, the chocolate on the fountain rotates. We spoke about it in my last trip to the Lego store, but this will do. We've turned our spare Joker minifigure into, well, 3 more minifigures, and this is the best way to grow your minifigure collection. All right, we did need to pick up the Ghost, a city police station, and have maybe the Bespin Dual Luke from an exclusive set, or the Lego Star Wars magazine, but the magazines are just amazing for figures, even if you don't want to do the puzzles, even if you don't want to display the posters, which, by the way, check it out, you still can't see it. Even if you don't want the magazine, I feel like picking up the magazine, taking the poly bag, and then gifting the magazine to a younger relative is also fair play. So these 3 minifigures are now going to be added not to the Batman CMF, to my collection, but I'm very happy to have an updated Joker. These magazines aren't even technically officially Lego. I think it's Blue Ocean, a German publisher, that decides which polybags get put in, and it has to exist, of course, in the Lego arsenal, but I'm really happy these magazines are a thing. Be sure to pick this one up, and don't forget in December you will be getting the Batgirl, which you can add some colourful hands and door molded boots if you are a fan of the animated show. Maybe I'll even work on a custom cow in the future, but that is all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, may the bricks be with you always.